he just runs out of breath and he can't really breathe properly. So he starts making like this gurgling noise.
On this week's Bondi Vet Top 5.
This little puppy's basically blind. I mean, her eyelids just won't open because they're rolled inwards.
But certainly, the longer that's left, the more chance that she'll become blind.
Oh, really?
That's the loudest snore that I think I've heard out of a bulldog.
At number 5 today.
Come on, let's go.
In Isleworth, southwest London, 34-year-old Human Resources Officer Annie is taking her beloved Cecil for his typically noisy daily outing.
Cecil's my 3-year-old French Bulldog, so I've had him since a puppy, and I treat him like my little baby. Goodbye, Cecil.
Unfortunately for Cecil, exercise is no walk in the park.
Whenever we go and walk him, he just runs out of breath and he can't really breathe properly, so he starts making like this gurgling noise. Because it's really scary, because it looks like he's going to pass out, so it's not nice to see or hear him like that.
With the condition getting worse, Annie is now seeking Scott's advice.
Come on, Cecil.
Hi, Annie. How are you? You okay?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, what's been happening?
So, Cecil can't really breathe at the moment when I take him for short walks, so he gets really out of breath.
He sounds awful, doesn't he? Hey, mate, you sound like a broken washing machine, don't you? How long have you been running for?
Just like a couple of minutes, not long.
A couple of minutes and he looks like that?
Yeah, it gets really bad.
Oh, Annie,
Cecil.
that's not good. Buddy, what is all that noise, eh? You've only worn for 2 minutes. I've known cases of this where the dogs have literally just passed away immediately, so we should get into the practice straight
All right,
away.
then.
All right?
Yeah.
Come on, mate. My plan is that we need to take Cecil straight back to the practice because he is really struggling to breathe. He is a risk to himself breathing that badly, and I'm very concerned. So I do need to get him back to the practice and understand exactly why he's breathing this badly. There we go. Come on. Let me carry you. Uncle Scotty's got you. Come on. Mate, that breathing is shocking. Have you found at all that he has actually collapsed completely?
He'll collapse on all fours. He has been sick in the past, like after running or during running, he'll just like get sick all over the grass.
Oh my goodness, mate. That's terrible. That's just not a way to live, is it? Eh? To make sure that I'm covering all the bases, I just need to check Cecil's heart and lungs. All right, so what I'm going to ask you to do, Annie, is just to try and close his mouth a little bit for me,
okay.
just to try and stem the noise, just while I have a listen to this chest. Good boy, yeah, you good boy. What am I doing? What am I doing? All right, okay, all right, right. So, there is some good news in that his heart and lungs both sound perfectly fine. So he is a nice, strong, healthy boy. Everything from the chest down, perfect. It's from the neck up that we've got real issues here. He's showing all the classic symptoms of a very common condition in French Bulldogs called Boas syndrome.
Oh.
It is a syndrome where they have been bred to look a certain way, and unfortunately that's led to problems. The main problem is that they've got a really short nose and a sort of flat face. And as a result, all the soft tissues in the back of the throat have been shunted back. And also, his nostrils, as you can see, are really very tiny. So the noise that you're hearing is actually the turbulence of the air flowing through the airways to go in and out. And you can tell there's quite a lot of turbulence going on. So he's not being very efficient in taking in the oxygen, taking in those breaths and then breathing out again. That's why he's out of breath. That's why he's panting. And that's why he collapses.
Okay.
Scott wants to operate as soon as possible on the beleaguered Bulldog. Cecil will now rest up quietly before his surgery.
First of all, I need to perform a general anaesthetic on Cecil in order to be able to look down his throat. My guess is that he will have an elongated soft palate and that will need trimming, but I can definitely see that he has a tiny little nostril slits, and so Cecil needs a nose job. What do you think about that? Eh? Yeah, you're unimpressed, but you're going to have one anyway, I'm afraid. Hey, you'll still be beautiful. Yeah, but you'll be able to breathe. and play with your mates. Doesn't that sound good? Yeah. Come on then, mate. Let's go see the girls, hey? Let's go see your adoring crowd. Hey,
Hello.
Hey, Jean, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good. This
How are you?
is Cecil.
Surgery is now about to go ahead on 3-year-old Cecil at Scott's Isleworth practice. Nurses Gina and Gemma are going to be assisting Scott with the surgery.
Hi, Cecil.
Guess what the problem is?
You can't breathe.
Pretty much. He makes that noise all the time. Don't you, mate? Does it remind you of anyone?
My dad after dinner.
Oh, really? There you go. You sound like Gina's dad. That's no good, is it? We're going to have to sort that out. All right, well, we're going to probably have to do 2 procedures today. The first is just the fact he has no nostrils, so he's going to have a nose job. Okay. And the second is once we've knocked him out and I can look down the back of his throat, I think there's almost certainly going to be an elongated soft palate, so we're going to have to trim that. So 2 procedures in one day. He can't exercise for very long because otherwise he collapses. He can vomit when he gets really overexcited. And then when he gets home, he pants for a good 10 or 20 minutes before he calms down. So I think Annie is feeling very worried about her little boy today. And the procedure that we have to perform today isn't a simple one. It's one that comes with risks, as do any anaesthetic. Okay, how's that? It's pretty good. So what I've done here is made a bit of a contraption for Cecil's head, which is going to allow me to better visualise all the structures at the back of his throat. Straight away I can see he has an absolute monster of a soft palate. It's going right down into his windpipe and it's causing all the problems that he's struggling with. What I need to do is to trim away some of that so that it doesn't go down and back over his windpipe. Gemma, if I get you then to hold that and just pull that out a little bit for me. In order to trim the soft palate successfully, I've asked if Gemma can help me with holding some stay sutures, which I've placed, and that allows me to really see it in all its glory, and it's massive. So it's great for Gemma to have that bird's eye view. It does mean that she is giving me a cuddle while she's doing it, but she does seem to be enjoying the surgery. So what we need to do is to try and take away some of that meatiness there. That's a much shorter soft palate that's now not impinging on the windpipe, and he's going to be able to breathe so much easier. I'm sure that this moment, whilst he's under anaesthetic and has a tube down his throat, is probably the first time in his life he's actually breathed properly. That's it, good. So that's part 1 done. Now part 2 is the nose job. The nose job isn't particularly tricky, but it is very bloody. What we've got here is the nostrils are just very narrow. There's just virtually no hole there whatsoever. So what I want to do is to flare them out to allow for a bigger hole and therefore more air to flow through with each breath. So he has nostrils. So what do you think?
There's such a huge difference there, and you can see he's actually going to be able to breathe now.
Yeah, I just hope he likes his new look. Will it be obvious if Cecil's had a nose job to everyone he knows? Maybe. I think more from the fact that he's going to breathe so much better, but unless he's got a mirror at dog level, I think he'll be just fine. There you go. Listen to how much quieter you are already. Yes. Aren't you? Yes, you are. Good boy.
A few hours later, Annie is waiting impatiently to be reunited with Cecil. The French Bulldog has recovered so quickly that Scott is happy for him to go home.
I was worrying all day, so I've just been sitting at home and just waiting for Scott to call me.
Oh, his nose!
Those, Annie, are called nostrils.
Yeah. Oh no, just look better now.
Yeah. Annie seems very happy to see Cecil and not too horrified about his nose. I think I've done a good plastic surgery job on it. Of course, he is breathing much better, which is the most important thing. Hopefully no more collapsing and much more having fun with your mates in the park, hey?
Oh my God, he does look really different, but it does look good now, because before it's just like two little tiny little slits. So now it looks like he can actually breathe through his nose.
All right.
Okay, so...
He's like, let me go home before that guy takes any more of my face off.
Well, thank you so much.
My pleasure. Here you go. Good lad. Your baby's huge. Bye, buddy. Bye, handsome boy. With your nostrils and everything. And your quiet breathing. Hey, good boy.
Thank you.
All right. Take care, Annie. I'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye, boy.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye, mate. Ah, what a kitty.
Cecil, up.
Elsewhere in southwest London, things are a whole lot quieter for Annie since Cecil's operation.
The nose job's worked really well for him. He's not struggling to breathe anymore. He's not catching his breath after he's playing.
Today, Scott's arranged to take the French Bulldog for a test run to check out his progress.
Wow, he's even trying to keep up with runners now. Hey, you're happy, boy? Are you? Walking in the park with Annie and Cecil is a delight because now we can do it and actually hear each other speak. Cecil is so much quieter, he is breathing so much easier and just enjoying himself as a normal, healthy dog should.
Number 4.
Happiest twins. They adopt out something like 5,000 dogs and cats a year, and I love them for that. I got the worm tablets. Wait. Good ones.
But Lisa's vet checks are interrupted by the unexpected arrival of 6 homeless Shar Pei puppies.
They are so cute. When I'm playing with these puppies, they are so adorable that I just want to melt. And thinking to myself, why would anyone dump such gorgeous babies? And when I look closely at them, I can see why. And look at that. Oh, darling. This little puppy's basically blind. I mean, her eyelids just won't open because they're rolled inwards. It's pretty awful. So the condition is called entropion, and basically their eyelids are growing inwards. So their eyelashes are rubbing up against the surface of the eye, and it can cause major irritation. It can potentially cause blindness.
Surgery is the only answer. Without it, Lisa knows the little ones have no chance of finding a home. She needs to call in a big favour.
And I was wondering if it would be possible if maybe you could come and help us out. I've got a really big favour to ask you.
At the Animal Welfare League shelter, Lisa is sending out an SOS to Sash eye specialist Mark Bilson to help her save the abandoned puppies.
Okay, see you soon. Bye. Yeah, he's coming.
All right, that's awesome.
It appears the babies have been dumped because they're all suffering from a serious eye disease called entropion.
It's one of the things that makes them so cute is all the rolls on their face, but when they're bred incorrectly, those rolls can be so severe that it can cause permanent eye damage and blindness. It's just a toy. This toy. What's this?
This shelter survives on donations. The voluntary services of the SASH team will now make it possible for the puppies to have their crucial operations. Without surgery, they have no future.
It's a horrible thought. I mean, these guys have got a long life ahead of them and a family somewhere that would love to have them. So it's a really sad thought to think that they may have been euthanized somewhere else, but our concern is we want to make sure that we're rehoming happy and healthy dogs, and they definitely need the surgery, without a doubt, and the sooner the better.
Hey, bring that back. Excuse me. Shocking, huh?
They are shocking, eh? Yeah, it's right up there.
At the Animal Welfare League shelter, SASH eye specialist Mark Bilson has responded to Lisa's SOS and donated his time to help the dumped puppies.
It's really swollen in there and you can hardly see any eye. There certainly is a chance there's going to be some permanent damage. This is one of the worst that I've seen for a while.
Mark wants to operate immediately.
Well, what we can do is effectively a bit of an eyebrow lift where we're going to put some stitches in and get their eyelids out of their eyes.
How could anyone give you up, huh? Without even giving you a chance. Get rid of those wrinkles like that.
Eye surgery on the homeless Shar Pei pups is about to begin. Lisa and Mark know the future of these brothers and sisters depends on these operations being successful.
Look at this, Lisa. This is nasty. You see that down there? So it's quite damaged. That cornea is much cloudier than it should be.
That is just shocking.
If that had been left, the scarring's going to get worse and potentially interfere with her vision more severely. Not bad.
So need another one then. These guys are not in pain anymore because we've opened up those lids that were rolled in and those eyelashes are no longer scratching on the surface of their eye.
Slowly, the patients start waking from their anaesthetics.
Really glad I came. It's nice to see them with their eyes open and they're very cute and looking forward to hearing about their new homes.
How about a big group hug for everybody?
As for Lisa's patients, the puppies are recovering well from their eye surgery and all have found new homes through Shar Pei Rescue.
Hello.
Hello.
I recognise those eyelashes. Hello, gorgeous. You must be Joe.
Yes, and this is Lily.
Oh, Lily. Hey, Jack, do you love Lily? Ooh, yeah. It's one thing that we did the surgery to help them see again, but now that I know that Lily has a loving family, it just warms my heart.
Thank you so much.
And good luck. See you later.
Take care, bye.
Someone's very upset.
Love, she has to go.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jack. I'll see you soon, Jack. My patients never get upset to say goodbye to me, but Jack and I were best buddies. Love at first sight. It was pretty heartbreaking that he was so upset when I was leaving. Aw, it's nice that someone loves me.
This week's number 3.
It's all right.
At the Bondi Referral Hospital SASH, 2-year-old Stanley is fighting his own battle. The British Bulldog is struggling to breathe.
I just feel like he's in pain the whole time.
Worried owner Michael is trying his best to keep the Bulldog calm.
Whenever he is around other dogs or gets really hot, he can't breathe properly, his throat swells up. I can't walk more than 500 metres. And that just starts. And it's just, you feel bad for him, you've got to take him home.
Michael, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Andrew Marchevsky, how are you? Stanley! You sound like a diesel. That's the loudest snore that I think I've heard out of a bulldog. That's pretty bad. So he's 2 years old. How long has he sounded like this?
Over a year, yeah.
If we don't do something before the next summer, he'll be in a whole heap of trouble. You know, your soft palates?
It's like the flap at the back.
Yeah, the little dangly bit. But theirs is, in dogs, it's much more broad. And in these guys, it's really broad, really thick, and really long. If we don't do something now, his whole voice box will just end up collapsing.
Yeah.
And if it gets to that point, the only thing we can do is put a permanent tracheostomy in him. A tracheostomy, there's a hole in here, and that's, you can do it, but it's really high maintenance, and they don't get a normal quality of life out of it.
Michael knows that if something isn't done soon, he risks losing his buddy.
He's just going to overheat and pass away. You know, that's generally what could happen.
Good boy.
At SASH, Stanley is in serious trouble. The British Bulldog is fighting for oxygen.
Oh, mate.
It gets worse and worse.
It gets worse and worse. Oh, yeah, you're a good boy. Yeah. Every breath he takes, he's having to breathe that little bit harder. It creates a lot of negative pressure. And with too much negative pressure, their whole voice box can start collapsing. And there's no point in me trying to look down his throat because he'll just get distressed. So the only way we can do it is to anaesthetise him. Have a look, make the assessment and say, OK, we've got to do this, and then just do it.
I think that's the best option.
I don't think you'll see this. I don't think he'll see the summer through.
And that was what we were worried about?
Yeah, have a lick, and that'll quiet. There you go. Oh, sure. Yeah, go. Right, go. It's been exciting, mate. Hey? A bit quieter when you sniff.
Andrew wants to operate on Stanley immediately.
We'll just throw him in here.
But first, the Bulldog needs to calm down. For Michael, it's a reluctant goodbye.
So can we come in tomorrow afternoon or just wait?
I would not visit him. I'd probably not visit him, period.
Just wait to the end?
Yeah. If he gets excited and it's really vascular and if it just sets off a bit of bleeding because he's jumping around, you don't want to do that.
See you, mate. Any operation, human or animal, it's an operation. Things can go wrong.
Sorry.
At SASH, 2-year-old Stanley is ready for his life-saving respiratory surgery.
He's been sedated and he's obviously much calmer and quieter. We're going to open up his airways. We'll open up his nostrils because they're really narrow. His soft palate, tighten it up. 99 Stanley. Oh, God. That soft palate's just sitting almost halfway down his windpipe. All Bulldogs, their soft palates are a bit long, but he's a gold medal winner.
If Stanley's overgrown soft palate isn't shortened, Andrew fears the Bulldog wouldn't survive another summer.
When he's breathing really hard, this is just going up and down like that and just obstructing his whole larynx. In extreme cases, if they're breathing so hard and it's a really hot day, their lungs can fill up with fluid, and that is really catastrophic. Oh, God. Wow. That's just a huge amount of tissue that I've had to take out there. It's really thick and fleshy. And that's the other problem. When it's so thick like that, it just fills up the whole airway. That's just a huge amount of tissue that I've had to take out there.
A huge chunk of Stanley's overgrown palate has been removed to help him breathe normally. Next, Andrew needs to widen Stanley's nostrils.
What I'm going to do is just take a wedge of tissue out and suture it closed. It'll be much easier for, again, air to get in. This is probably the bloodiest part of the surgery. We'll do the same on the other side, and every little bit will just make it that much easier for him to breathe. So now we just make sure they wake up quietly and slowly.
Although Andrew's happy with the way the surgery has gone, any excitement to Stanley can cause swelling or rupturing of his delicate blood vessels.
If we don't watch him, he could again suffocate, obstruct and die. So he'll basically be getting 24-hour care for the next 36 hours.
Hey, you gonna come out and see what you're doing? I can't hear you.
Stanley is also waiting for his turn to go home. It's hard to believe that when Stanley first arrived at SASH, the staff could barely hear themselves think above the Bulldog's laboured breathing.
Stanley, good boy, come here.
It's been an amazing transformation.
It's a bit better, isn't it, mate?
Oh, what a good dog. Really, really good. I definitely couldn't have hoped for anything better than this, just a few days down the track.
Sit. Oh, what a good sit. What a good boy. Can I have a look at your nose? Well, that's healing together well. You're not snoring too much. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. It's all right. Hey? Oh, he's a good boy. Yes, okay.
The proof of the pudding is going to be when he goes out and meets Michael and Brittany, because he'll get really excited. If he doesn't sound like a steam train after that, then I'll have done my job.
I'm excited to see him, but a bit nervous because I just want him to be better, really.
Stan!
Who, Dad? Pretty exciting.
Don't excite him too much.
No, Stanley was so excited to see Brittany and Mike, but he was quiet as a mouse. You just couldn't hear him. That means I've done what I set out to do.
I'm very excited. I'm very excited. Thank you so much for everything. Thanks a lot.
Lovely to meet you. That's a pleasure. Yeah.
Good boy.
This summer will be a breeze for him. I think he's going to have a pretty normal bulldog life.
Number 2.
It's an early start for Scott. He's on the road answering a call from rescue group All Dogs Matter. Their kennels are an hour's drive north from Richmond in Waltham Abbey, Essex.
So there's thousands of dogs that are abandoned here in the UK every year, but not all of them find new homes. But I tell you what, it would be made a hell of a lot worse if it wasn't for the dedication of volunteers and staff at amazing rescue centres like All Dogs Matter. So when they say they've got a special case for me, I make it my absolute priority to get up and see them just as soon as I can to see if there's anything I can do to help. Hello, Mum. Hello, beautiful. Haven't you done well? But I can kind of see the problem. I'm almost certain she's probably had a cesarean having puppies this big in a tiny little dog like that.
It's really small and the pups are really doing well.
Yeah, they weren't going to come out the natural way, were they, honey?
Jane is introducing Scott to the sad story behind Sadie and her 3 puppies.
So Sadie was very heavily pregnant when she was brought into a vet clinic by her owners. She's only a baby herself. You've done so well, haven't you? Then she had a cesarean in order to deliver them. They were huge puppies. But of course, the bill was quite large and the owners simply refused to pay it, so they dumped her at the vet practice. All right, let's have a little look at this tummy, hey? If we just flip her onto her back like that, Jane, well done. Oh, lots of milk there for babies. Well done, Mum.
We'd like to see if we can get her vaccinated as well.
Absolutely, yeah, that's fine. I brought the vaccinations today, all good. Thankfully, the team here at All Dogs Matter jumped in and saved Sadie, took the puppies here, and then have reared them all together. They're a gorgeous little family, and all 3 puppies have already got homes. Yes, just no more puppies. You're far too small. OK, Sadie, be a brave girl. Brave girl, well done. Oh, I know, it's a little bit sore, isn't it, sweetheart? I know, brave girl. Sadie's trying to be saved by one of her puppies over there. Look at that. I'll save you, Mummy. Come here. Come here. Oh, my goodness, you guys are so cute. Let me have it. Oh, yes. Aren't you guys lucky? You've already got homes, hey? How cool is that?
But Scott's work is a long way from finished.
So, Scott, I know you're having fun with the pups, but I was just called.
Another terrible case of neglect is arriving at the kennels.
Hi, ladies. How you doing? Hi. Who have you got for me today?
Right.
Oh, hello, gorgeous. Hello.
Little Honey in the back.
So this is Honey. Hello, beautiful. And wow.
Not in very good condition.
I only need a few seconds to see there's quite a few issues here, isn't there? Hey, but you're incredibly gorgeous.
It's very sweet. So we got a call today from one of the local pounds that we work with about a beautiful Shar Pei that had been abandoned. She was on death row, on the death row list, so she'd done 7 days and was now ready to go. So we were asked if we could come over and help out.
First of all, I can see this poor skin. She's scratching like mad, very red and very thickened, all these little scabs all over. So it's almost certain she's got mange. The mange mite, which basically runs underneath the skin, is incredibly itchy, leads to this hair loss and, of course, then a secondary infection where they're scratching themselves all the time. Sure. But, of course, one thing we know mostly about Shar Peis is all these extra folds of skin. Mm-hmm. And what she's got, which is very classic of the breed, is entropion, or in-rolling eyelids. And what they're doing is rubbing on the protective surface of the eye, the cornea, and leading to an ulcer. But certainly, the longer that's left, the more chance that she'll become blind.
Oh, really? OK. Oh, poor Honey, we can't have that. Scott needs to fix you. I would imagine that a dog like Honey, she's quite a rare colour, would have probably cost, say, at least £1,000. So research, look at what you're buying. You wouldn't buy a Ferrari if you couldn't afford the insurance, And it's so stressful for them being abandoned. They can suffer not just physically, emotionally. It's so difficult for them not knowing what's going on in their lives.
I'm going to do my best to make your face as beautiful as your personality, but it's already pretty gorgeous. It is.
Scott's here to save the day, save the honey monster.
It is. I'll do my best. They're the victims in this. They are literally the pawn in a terrible game of dog chess. I don't know why people think they deserve to have a dog when they treat them in this manner.
Scott will now take Honey back to Richmond for surgery that will decide her future.
In order for her to get the forever home, she does have some fairly serious hurdles to jump. We've got to get the skin sorted, and absolutely the eye problem that she's got is severe. The procedure that we have to perform is complex, and sometimes this surgery doesn't work. There we go.
All right.
Say
We'll
goodbye to
come and see you
Ira.
next week. You be a good girl. We'll see you next
So
week.
it really is an unsure future, but fingers crossed, she absolutely deserves a second chance.
Bye, Scott. Bye, honey. See you next week.
Hi, ladies.
Hello.
Look who I've got. Honey.
It's a big reception at Richmond for Scott's new patient, Honey.
We've got little bits of work to do on her face, so Gemma,
Yeah.
you can take her downstairs, get everything ready for us, and I'm going to get into my scrubs, all right?
All right. Come on then. Come on, honey bunny.
The one-year-old Shar Pei was dumped after her owners discovered she had medical problems that were going to cost over £1,000 to fix.
Well done. What you think of her?
Oh, look at her skin.
I know, it's really bad, isn't it?
Little baby.
Yeah, poor mangy girl.
Hey,
Right.
honey bun.
So, we're just going to put a catheter in your leg, okay?
You're gonna be a good girl.
Give you some pre-med. You can just... I think she's just yearning for attention, any kind of attention, even a vet putting a needle in her arm. She's pretty chilled about it. She's an absolute sweetheart. This is a really complicated procedure that I'm about to perform on Honey. She's such a lovely dog, but at the moment, she doesn't have a home and she doesn't have a future. So I better get this procedure right. So you can see those horrible eyelashes. Look, there we go.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of swelling of all the tissues surrounding the eye as well. So, poor little girl. All right.
Oh, you're gonna see the world. You're able to see the world again. I don't know how people can treat them like this. Look at her.
No.
Do you know, with everything that she's got wrong with her and how uncomfortable her skin must feel, she's still so lovely.
I know. This procedure, you would say, is a bit like a facelift. It is lifting some skin away from the tops and the bottoms of the eyes in order for her to see. But this isn't a plastic surgery procedure that's just for her beauty and good looks. This is to try and fix her eyes, try and take away that chronic irritation, those in-rolling eyelids, and the scratching that she must feel on the eyes as a result of the eyelashes. Hard to tell. I mean, they're so deep-seated and so covered. I'm really struggling to be able to actually even see the eye. So, yeah. Honey's lived her whole life in discomfort, I would imagine. This hasn't been a good life for her so far.
Did you get a bit carried away with the clipping?
A nice wide surgical site, Gemma. It's not about aesthetics here. Well, it is about aesthetics. I'm actually giving her a facelift.
Yeah. Okay.
Time for your close-up.
Scott is about to start the operation which could change the life of Honey the rescue dog. In this delicate doggy facelift, he needs to take away enough skin to stop her eyelashes scratching her cornea. Too little skin and the procedure will fail.
So what I'm doing here is just taking away a section of tissue above the eye, and then I'm going to stitch those sections of skin back together, and what that's going to do is cause a bit of tension and it'll help to pull the eyebrow back. Yeah, it's obviously a pretty unattractive thing to watch, but it will give a functional result, which is a dog that won't have eyelashes rubbing up constantly against her poor eye.
It has put me off going under the knife myself. I don't think I'll be having any plastic surgery. Bit gruesome for me, but it's perfect for Honey. It's going to really make a difference to her. What kind of stitch are you going to do?
Was there a dressmaking stitch that you'd recommend?
Or maybe an invisible slip stitch.
Before Gemma changed careers, she was a successful fashion designer. Today, she's not holding back with her assessment of Scott's handiwork.
I don't know if I'd let him on a couture gown. They're not dainty enough stitches, I'm afraid. No comment.
It's probably the same would apply, Gemma. I don't think I'd let you free on anything with a pulse.
Excuse me, I have you know, I've been learning my suturing. They're quite good.
What you've been practicing on?
on a bit of rubber thing.
Exactly.
So me and Scott have a little bit of banter. When I first came for an interview, he said to me, well, you're no spring chicken. And he didn't realise what he'd said until he'd said it, and then it was out there. He couldn't take it back. So I think that gives me right to tease him occasionally. Yeah, she's going to let me on a live patient soon.
Make sure that I'm heavily sedated when that happens.
I'll make sure you're not in the building. He's annoyed with me now. That's going together really beautifully, isn't it? It's amazing.
I'm really happy with the outcome. The eyelashes are now folding outside the eye where they're supposed to be, and hopefully a much more comfortable future lies ahead. So far, so good. I'm just about to move to the other eye.
So whilst you're doing this to poor Honey,
Yeah.
all the puppies are in upstairs.
I wonder what all that barking was upstairs.
Yeah, puppy party time.
You hear those playful barks and you think, you know what, I feel a little jealous. I want to get up there and have some fun. But then I realise that the kind of presents the puppies bring aren't ones that I want to pick up.
Nearly there, Honey. You're doing very well.
We get her skin sorted, we get her face and eyes sorted, and she'll be the beauty on the outside as well as in.
So when are you booking in for your facelift?
How rude.
Now he doesn't know what to say.
So there's the last suture on our little beauty, and fingers crossed, after that little facelift, she's just gonna be a happy, healthy girl. But that, Gemma, is that.
Now we've got to find her a home.
Okay, she can wake up now. Lovely. There we go, here we go. Good girl. Hello, honey. Good girl.
Hi.
Hello, hi. Look, you can see me. Yeah, look, she's looking at me already. Hello.
Honey.
Oh, how cool is that? All right, should we put you back in a cage to sleep it off? Yeah?
But while Honey may be out of danger, the vet may be in a bit of trouble.
It must have really hurt because I could just tell by his face he was in agony. He's about to cry, I think. Did that bring tears to your eyes? It wasn't funny to Scott at the time, but I was dying inside. Couldn't laugh, but...
I've got, yeah.
Both Scott and Honey will have to cope with a bit of swelling tomorrow.
Good girl, you've done so well. That's the first big hurdle jumped. I've just got to sort out your skin and find you a new home. Come on, gorgeous girl. Come on, beautiful. That's a good girl.
It's 24 hours since Honey's operation, and the Shar Pei's eyes have already opened up significantly.
Any woman that gets a facelift is always going to be critical of the result. But the fact that Honey is following me around and giving me kisses and cuddles, I think that client satisfaction is all good. Her spatial awareness with the collar's a little bit questionable. She's smashing into almost everything. But you know what, it has to stop her from scratching those sutures, and it's all important to get the result we want.
Honey has also been ravaged by mange mites, which are still causing excruciating inflammation to her skin.
Not much of a spa treatment today for poor Honey. Instead of having a shampoo that smells like lavender or a rose petal, it smells like petrol. Pretty disgusting. But the hope is once we've killed off those nasty mites, she is going to have a beautiful, glossy, honey-coloured coat.
Great teamwork, but there does seem to be a bit of truth serum in this bathwater.
Vets never get involved in anything like this. It's very rare that they get involved in the dirty work. So it's always funny when they do, because they always do it wrong.
Nathan is only one of 2 male vet nurses employed at the practices.
We're surrounded by a bunch of very, very strong-willed women. You know, there's bloke solidarity with me and Nathan.
Especially when it comes to that time of the month. That's the...
He's going to get it now, I tell you.
I think the guys secretly like being outnumbered, and they give as good as they get. And certain boys are bigger gossip than the girls. I won't name names.
All right, Honey, so you've got to dry off naturally. Oof. I tell you what, anyone that gets this dog is going to be lucky because she is an absolute delight.
Later that day, Nina from rescue group All Dogs Matter arrives to start Honey on her new journey.
Hi there, hi, I'm Scott, how are you?
Hi, I'm Nina. Nice
Hi,
to meet
Nina,
you.
and
You're
more
right.
importantly, very good. This is Honey.
Hello, little sweetheart.
Isn't she gorgeous?
Very rewarding for the dog, for you as a human. When we see them progressing and finally landing on their paws, it's just wonderful. Gorgeous,
Find
look
her
at
home.
her. She's so cute. Look at those beautiful eyes. It's much better now. Is that more comfortable?
It was lovely to see the bond that Nina struck up straight away with Honey. And I tell you, the more and more she spoke to Honey, the more and more I wanted to speak. What a great accent. There's a kisses.
Oh, no.
There's a kiss. Oh, dear. And tongues. Well, that's very French.
I thought you said a bit of a French side. Yeah.
It's always sad to see them go, but I tell you what, she is an absolute stellar dog, and she's going to find a great owner, I have no doubt. Hopefully, you'll let me come and do a house visit soon, because I'd just love to see how she gets on.
Of course.
All right then, bye-bye, beautiful. Hey, good luck at your new home. I don't think it's going to be long before you've got a loving family to go to. Ooh, you're beautiful.
All right, all the best.
Thank you very much
See
for
ya.
everything.
Thanks so much for coming.
See you later. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, honey. See ya.
Bye.
Come on, pup. Good girl.
Look at my girls.
She's got both.
Another 2 weeks later, and Honey is looking very relaxed in her forever home.
Good girl.
The Shar Pei's new family are Gwen, Philip, and their daughter Catherine. Honey also has 2 new doggy siblings.
We saw her on the website, decided we really liked her, but she was actually at a foster home. So we were told we can go and see her. So we took Riley, the pug, with us to see how they got on. And me and my mum fell in love with her. So she came for a week and she just didn't leave. She just stayed. So it worked out really well for her.
Now we've got large, medium and small. Which I like that.
I just hope she knows that she's staying here now. I'm not sure she knows that yet.
Hello! Hello, gorgeous girl. How are you?
As promised, Scott's arrived to check up on one of his favourite patients.
I'm elated to see just how comfortable Honey seems to be, and Catherine already seems to adore her. Well, let's have a little exam of her, shall we? Hello, who are you? Hello, who's this guy?
This is Nelson.
Hello, handsome. And you got a pug over there as well.
And this is Riley over here. So
Riley.
we've got quite a collection here.
Yeah. Let's have a little look at your eyes first. They do look fantastic. The scars have healed really well. They both seem the same size and shape, and you can start seeing those beautiful brown eyes that she's got as well.
Lovely eyes.
They really do. And how's her skin been going?
Even the 2 weeks she's been here, I think she looks a lot better.
Yeah, well, she's certainly not itchy anymore, scratching herself to death, and it definitely looks a lot less red, a lot less sore. There's no scabs. From a behavioural point, she does seem very stressed here.
She looks stressed, doesn't she?
You are so chilled and happy in your new home, aren't you?
I love Honey. I couldn't imagine our house without her now. She's my new baby. She comes to bed with me for half an hour every night and has a cuddle. Then she goes back downstairs and then she comes and wakes me up for work in the morning, which is better than an alarm. It's a nice wake-up call, yeah.
As a vet, to treat a dog and see them getting better, that's one thing. But then to find a family in a home as great as this, for this great little dog, I'm absolutely over the moon, so yeah.
You deserve it, don't you, Honey?
Yeah, you're a lucky girl. And so are you. You're a lucky girl.
I am as well.
And this week's number 1.
I've known Ali for about 10 years now, ever since she walked into my veterinary practice with her beloved dog, Ruck. And since then, we've become friends. She is an amazing dog owner.
Scott helped Ali through the heartbreak of losing Ruck to cancer and then her next dog, Mabel.
My new baby girl. Can't sleep forever.
Ali can't help herself when it comes to animals in need, and her new rescue 1-year-old Wilbur definitely also needs Scott's help.
So go on, rattle off the list. So what list of problems do you want me to fix?
So there's the obvious, his nostrils are tiny little slits, his soft palate is clearly stuck in his throat a lot of the time. Obviously, I think you're going to take his ghoulies off tomorrow because he's a rescue.
Yes.
And then on top of that, there's the face fold.
British Bulldogs are part of the brachycephalic group of dogs, which is basically flat-faced. They've been bred to have flatter and flatter faces, and as a result really struggle to breathe, have loads of skin problems.
If you could hear him trying to sleep, I mean, there's a couple of times he's had no air, and the panic on his face, and mine, is awful.
I mean, when you see these two dogs, the contrast of Ludo leading by her nose, I mean, he's leading by his jaw.
I know.
It's madness.
Add to that his nostrils are effectively tiny because they're
Like
just little slits. They're not really
letterboxes.
holes.
They're letterbox
You just
slits, aren't
can't
they?
get any air in.
Ali is such an amazing dog owner. She's a real pragmatist. She knew she was taking on a bull breed that has certain issues. She'd done the research, she'd asked me about it, and she's ready to go to manage those situations. Come on, puppies. Who's
It's
the
a
patient?
nice consult room.
There we go.
Yeah, you're a patient.
Consult room with a view. Looking at Wilbur, the facial folds are so prominent and pronounced. It's almost like he's got like a fleshy speed bump in the way of his eyes.
You can see him wince a bit sometimes when you clean it, so I know it's sore.
Oh, there'll be a level of discomfort in that for sure. I mean, there's a bit of redness and irritation.
Wilbur is going to need extensive surgery.
This very much is a facelift for dogs. It's not something that we have to do very often, thank goodness, but in this case it's very much needed, and rather than being something to make you look good, it's going to make him feel better. I don't have to worry about how he looks. I can make sure that he's as healthy as he can possibly be, and for me, that's thrilling.
Wilbur will be heading straight to Scott's practice for what Ali hopes will be life-changing surgery for the little dog.
That breaks my heart because he hasn't got a tail to wag, so occasionally he just like wags his little hips and you think, what have we done to him? What have we done to him? That's a good boy. In we go. This way, Poppet.
In London, welfare warrior Ali is bringing her rescue bulldog Wilberforce to Scott's practice for a marathon day of surgery.
Hello, team. Hi, Wilbur. Hi. Hi. Oh my God. He's like a rugby player in a dog's body. Yeah.
The one-year-old will be having 5 procedures to correct genetic abnormalities and give him a more comfortable life.
Bulldogs are a damaged breed thanks to human beings. We have shunted them, squashed their faces, damaged their backs, their spines, their tails, all kinds of things with a view to making them look like we want them to look like.
Has Mummy got her shopping list?
There you go.
I love this. I was thinking about this going, you know, most people like to go, okay, what's the shopping list today? It's like broccoli, maybe some eggs. Wilberforce is having a castration and a nose job.
He is. So I've known Scott a long time and he's always mocking me for my Excel spreadsheets. So today I couldn't help myself, I've written him a list.
I'm looking forward to this because I think, you know, he's such a lovely dog and
give him the best chance.
He just deserves to be able to breathe better. Wilbs, say goodbye to Mummy.
Bye,
Go on then.
darling. I know, Papa. I absolutely trust Scott. We've known each other a long time. He's a great vet. He's my friend. But I think anyone whose dog is going under the knife and under anaesthetic is always a little bit anxious. See you soon.
Try not to worry too much.
I won't.
All right.
Keep yourself busy.
I've got my list. Mum.
Tick it off.
See you later. Bye. I'll be checking it twice. It's daunting going into surgery with such a long list simply because you know that your patient might be under anaesthetic for a really long time. Are you looking forward to your facelift? Eh? I'll have to get one of those in a couple of years. Huh? Yeah.
Assisting Scott is nurse Nathan.
So first on the list is assessing Wilbur's eyelashes. A lot of British Bulldogs suffer with something called ectopic cilla. They're really irritating eyelashes. Rather than growing out of the eyes, they sort of grow down and they can rub on the eye, causing a corneal ulcer or damage to that protective surface of the eye. Okay. So his eyes are clear, so that's good. But what he has got is just a little slight amount of in-rolling of the eyelid. But it is only mild. I've seen way worse. And I'm hopeful that just by removing the skin fold beneath, I can produce enough tension to be able to just slightly roll it out without the actual need to perform surgery there as well.
Oh, look at that.
Next is a check of Wilbur's soft palate.
That's the soft palate flapping in the wind there. And you can see how it's going right down and into his larynx, and that's not what should happen. Looking down the throat of Wilbur, I'm not surprised to see that his soft palate is elongated and it is flapping away inside his larynx there. That is making for a lot of difficulty breathing, and also some of the noise involved as well. Yeah. So he definitely needs that trimming. It's not the worst I've seen, but you know, it'll definitely be improved just by being a little bit trimmed, that one. The surgery itself is pretty straightforward. We almost evert it kind of like a second tongue, and then I just kind of lop off the section in the middle, just shortening it. And instead of having that flap, you've now got sort of a lovely bridge that allows air to flow right through the throat and down into the airways. Okay, all right, everyone ready? As they say, measure twice, cut once. And I'm very happy. I think it looks so much better, and that should have quite a quick result in improving his ability to breathe, and certainly might reduce that snoring. So that's the first surgical element ticked off the list, and now we're going to move to the nostrils and that skin fold.
This is the part Scott's most nervous about, remodelling the Bulldog's face.
Deep breath, everyone. The next step is the narrowplasty or nose job for Wilbur, and it's basically where we take a triangle out of each of the nostrils and flare them upwards just to increase the size, the diameter of the nostrils, which has a massive impact on his ability to take in deeper breaths. So now he's got nostrils, quite big ones as well, which is no bad thing. Oh, okay, right, so that's that done. So now facial fold time.
Scott's removing some of the excess skin around Wilbur's face to reduce the infection and inflammation in the excessively deep folds.
His facial muscles are reacting. It's nerve-wracking. It's really hard. It's actually quite difficult to get into these folds and make sure that you're removing the right amount, and you're actually cutting a little bit blind as well. So yeah, because there's a lot of blood vessels, there's important structures underneath, and because of how deep the folds are, you're doing a lot of the surgery blind. So definitely more challenging than I anticipated.
With the troublesome skin folds finally removed, Scott's anxious to make sure that after all the delicate cutting, Wilbur's vital tear ducts running between his eyes and nose are still intact.
In this dog's particular case, it's so deeply positioned that it was pretty much impossible for me to see before I did or didn't cut. So I'm just putting some dye in his eye, and if everything is fine, it should trickle. Well, certainly there should be some green coming out of his nose quite shortly. Just a bit nervous on this right side, it's just had a bit of a bleeder. I can't see anything coming out actually into the surgical space, so I mean, they could have been blocked before.
With no telltale dye coming through, a nervous Scott is going to flush the tear ducts, suspecting there may be an existing blockage.
Just think of Ali, she doesn't realise how much pain you're going through now doing
this.
Yeah,
I know. Some more grey hairs to add to the collection. He's got flat face, therefore he does tend to get blocked tear ducts, but with a bit of flushing, I could see that lovely trickle of luminous green coming out of his nose, which probably for the first time is a really good thing. I can breathe now.
On to needlework now?
Yep, loads and loads of sutures. It's such a relief to have this surgery nearly completed and to be able to see that my handiwork is paid off. His face looks good and there's no more folds, so I'm pretty happy vet right now. That looks good.
Be the envy of the bulldogs in the park.
Yeah, look at my non-wrinkly face. Dr. Scotty's taken the years off me.
But Scott can't relax just yet.
Okay, so last thing. Oh, castration, yes. I bet Wilbur hoped that I'd forgotten that one. So this is the final cut. Someone say the most painful cut of all. Okay, and that's that. Okay, I never want to have to remove something from this dog again. I'm pretty exhausted. It's been intense and long, but you know, we've ended up with a really good result. After that marathon surgery, I'm absolutely knackered. It was a long list. I checked it twice. I completed it once, and now I need a nap.
And a much quieter Wilberforce is also enjoying a well-earned snooze.
Today's been a really long wait. It's always long because you're anxious and you're checking your phone for an update, but it's just waiting's always really hard when you want to get your little boy home, really.
Here's the new face reveal.
Hi, little guy. Oh, you do look a bit swollen.
What do you think?
Oh, I know, that toe. You've got a load of space under his nostrils though.
Yeah.
Eh?
And the facial folds?
It's gone.
Yeah.
I know, puppy.
I could have made a small Wilberforce purse out of the amount of skin I've removed.
Oh, you darling. It's going to feel better soon, I promise. Oh, loving him.
I'm very happy with it.
Well, if you're really happy with it, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm really happy with it. It looks kind of like I was expecting it to look.
Yes, he's had a bad day, but I think it's a day that needed to be had, and this is the sort of start of the rest of his life where he'll be comfortable, he'll breathe a lot better. Yeah, happy
Just
days.
the worst day. It's all good from now, Papa.
Yeah.
It's all getting better.
Yeah.
I'm not promising the next 4 days are going to be easy, but for Wilberforce, it's definitely life-changing surgery. For any brachycephalic breed, it's life-changing surgery. I feel bad for him, but I was contemplating that today, going for 2 weeks of discomfort and soreness for him for a lifetime of benefit. It's definitely the right decision. It's definitely worth it. But the next couple of days, particularly, I think I'll feel a bit sad for him.
Hey, you've had a few too many at the pub, haven't you? Good boy.
It's Mama. Yes. Oh, no. Oh, careful.
Despite feeling miserable now, Wilbur has a bright future and plenty of thank you kisses for Scott.
Oh, beautiful boy. You've had a bad day, haven't you? Oh, you are lovely. I think that he is going to have a wonderful recovery and a really great new life. I mean, this is a dog that's come out of the box genetically not particularly blessed, but hopefully with what I've done today, tinkering about with his face and his soft palate, etc., this is a dog that's going to breathe so much better and therefore live a far more healthy and comfortable life. Okay, come on then, buddy. Let's go. Home time now. Come on. Will I do 5 surgeries in one again? Probably not. All right, I'm going to give you a hug and I'm going to go lay down.
I know.
Bye.
A month after Scott performed marathon mouth and nose surgery, rescue dog Wilbur has made a remarkable recovery. The 1-year-old British Bulldog is now breathing much better, with a lot more energy. Scott also removed excess skin folds from his face, so the constant irritation on his eyes is gone. And life is looking far more promising for the sprightly young rescue dog.
If you guys loved that video, great. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel below. That way.